Hello friends, thank you for joining me today. I am going to try and record some videos today. I am a little bit well, I can't really go out and about. Unfortunately I seem to be having some kind of reactive something or other, so I've got sort of some swelling and some issues with my hands, and a bit of a swollen lip as well, and a croaky voice. And so some of the medication that I've been recommended to take has a sedative effect, so I've been told not to drive. So instead of going out and about on this what is quite a bright and beautiful autumn day here in the UK in October, I'm going to do some of the videos I've been meaning to do for some time. Basically I've got a whole pile of decks that have been sat waiting to be looked at, and I thought I'd record some, share these with you. I also want to see about pairing some of them at some point. There's various things, but we're going to start off by having a look at some of the decks that come into my collection that I've not really looked at properly yet, and share them with you. So the first deck is this one that's in front of you now. This is a Kickstarter I backed. It's one that I've not seen on many channels, however I have seen it on a couple, and there is an issue with one of the cards that I'll share with you shortly. But this is called the Oracle of Shifting Shadow, and this is by two sisters called Mort and Emily Sparrow. Now they're based in the UK, they're actually based near Glastonbury, so I've very much become a fan of trying to support UK creators, and this deck was the pictures were so beautifully produced, and they're all original artwork by one of the sisters that I felt like I would really appreciate backing it. Unfortunately the campaign didn't go brilliantly. It took quite a long time for this to get to me. Other people were getting decks far earlier. It felt a little bit pulled out, and then as I say, there is a slight issue with one of the cards, so that was a real shame, because it kind of, at the time that I got it, I had thoughts about how I was going to use it, and I haven't seen it, you know, but I'm wondering whether this is going to be a good one to use now, because I was trying to choose one of my decks to use sort of at this kind of autumnal time. So we'll have a look at this. So it came, I've got a bookmark, so some of the stretch and add-on goals, there's this bookmark. I love bookmarks, so that's really pretty. I just need to be careful because I've had a couple where the tassels have come undone lately. It's just on card, it's quite a sturdy card. So there's this lovely bookmark. You can see actually in this character here the symbol on their third eye chakra, and then they've got this nest with a blackbird or a raven in, which is really pretty, and a crystal here, so that's quite cool. And then there were a couple of stickers as well, so you can see that this sticker here is the same as on the box, and so I'll put those to one side to use. Their company, that they have an Etsy shop, and they actually call themselves the Old Forest Forge, so if you want to look them up on Instagram. But one of the stretch goals was this beautiful pin badge. I've got quite a few gorgeous pins I haven't worked out what I'm doing with yet. But I love the fact this has been put on this really nice card. It's a really nice pin. It actually has 2 pins to it. So I really like that. Really pretty. Now, prior to the Oracle, one of the things that Emily and Mort did was create these small zines, and several of them are around based around Glastonbury, which is how I came across them, I think. So one of the things you could add on, or as I think it was an add-on rather than a stretch goal, was to have this. And what's really lovely about this is that it talks about some of the sites of Glastonbury that you may have heard about from people like Sandra at the Spirit of Avalon, and Simon when they visited. And it's just very simple. It talks about, with all the artwork of the sisters, And then it has some really gorgeous little things in it. I just think it's really cool. And I really, really like the artwork. I really like their kind of, it's like a fae style. It's really pretty, really beautiful. And yeah, so this is a really lovely edition, actually. I should have just got this alone. Gog and Magog, the trees. And actually, this is really nice paper as well. It's decent paper. It's not like dead thin or anything. So it's really cool. That's a really beautiful picture that says meditation. Meditation to peer beneath the veil. That's really cool. I need to have another look at that. Take only what you need. And in fact, that's the same as is on this pin badge card. It's beautiful, sort of green person creature, and there's actually a couple of colouring pages as well, which is really cool, and your own colouring. So this is about them. They create artwork inspired by nature and the ancient woodlands of England. They kind of look at sculpting fairy finds and things. They use copper jewellery, so they do some work with crystals and copper as well. They go to various fairs. So they talk here about the weird sisters who together make up Old Forest Forge. We converse with spirits in nature and collaborate with them, forging unique pendants, talismans, inspired writings and artworks. They grew up in the rolling hills and fields of Shropshire before they moved to the wilds of Yorkshire, where moorland, forest and valleys are part of day-to-day life. But as with many people, something drew us to Glastonbury and to fall in love with the energy, spirits and people there. A pilgrim is someone who travels in foreign lands, and rarely does it feel easier to walk between worlds than in Avalon. So they've kind of gone some of the beautiful places in the country. So that's the Fairy Pilgrim's Guide to Glastonbury by Old Forest Forge, Emily and Mort Sparrow. So the deck itself, this is an oracle deck of 33 cards. So it's not a massive deck, but it wasn't overpriced, I didn't feel, at the time. Talks here, welcome to the world's shifting shadow. Step across the line that separates light from darkness. Begin a journey of self-discovery and deep reflection. So this was very much, it's got a sturdy 2-part box. Talks about here, it says pierce through the veil. And then you have the cards, and you do have a guidebook with this. Now, yeah. And the guidebook, it has a very similar feel to the other work. It's got full colour pictures, and then it has the key phrase or word, a couple of additional keywords to relate to that phrase, and some words around that. The nice thing is it's, focuses on that. So there's just a little introduction here about how they created it and why they created it. So just have a look. I think Mort was the primary creator, and then yeah, Emily was the sort of the support. There's a couple of readings at the back, card readings you can do at the back. So it really is just pretty much is very much about the deck, but it's a nicely produced book. It's not too big, so it's easy to slip this into a pocket or something. And then you have the deck itself. So the deck is quite a high gloss of card. It is a they are quite tall cards. So they are, in relation, I have quite a chunky hand, but they're tall. Let me just get one of my, so this is one of the cards from one of the Three Trees Tarot decks. So you can see kind of in relation to that, the size. They have this lovely silver gilded on the back. Unfortunately, in some cases this has got a bit scratched. When I first got the deck, it was a little bit stuck together, and I think unfortunately it's just not taken sometimes the foil on the back here. They are also edged silver, and it's not a sharp silver, so they're not particularly sharp, so it's really pretty, it's really nice, it's not uncomfortable, but the cards are a little very glossy. Now what you can see here, if I just, you can see that there's an extra line, and if I just show you, it's going to be hard to show, but I don't know if you can see here, there is one card that unfortunately has been miscut and cut bigger than the rest. So this card here has been cut marginally. If I just It's really hard to show you, but if I just show you, it's been cut a couple of millimeters bigger. And this is the release card. And it's unfortunate that this has happened. Now, I know before I opened my copy of the deck, I saw, who was it? Levi of Masculine Intuitive Readings. Apologies, I can't remember the channel name. And he'd found this. And there was a sort of discussion with the creators about what they were going to do about it, because obviously having one card cut like that, you know, it's very obviously bigger. It's going to stick out. Can you see it just cutting out the edge here and here? So it's wider. It's ever so slightly taller, but it's the width that's the issue. And obviously you can't trim it down, because if you trim it down, then you lose the gilding. I don't think a conclusion was ever reached, and unfortunately I think that marred the deck for a few people. I haven't found it a massive issue yet. I've not done a lot with this deck. You know, I'd have to decide and see if I find that it means that card is always jumping out, or I'm never picking it because I know which one it is, then perhaps I need to rethink. I have shuffled this deck so it's not quite in the original order. And some of the silver foiling has transferred, but the cards all have this kind of tree-like kind of little border, which gives it a bit of a frame. So yeah, so that was just a real shame. It's a really gorgeous card, this one, and it's a really powerful keyword actually, and so it could be very important, and it's just a shame that that's happened. That there's a whole load of issues around. They talked about whether they would send people a card and various things, but anyway, so that's the release card. So you've got these gorgeous artwork, lots of nature, lots of, you know, very fae-like characters. The keywords are very similar to some, yet they have different ones as well. There's a limit to how many keywords you can have, but in terms of the shifting shadows, in terms of your deep exploration, you can see how these would work. So deep rest, the tree, and settling down with the gorgeous daffodils. Ego. So at first glance you don't see, but there is a character here. Guardian, so this is the character that's on the front of the box. And you can see here, this is a nest with some eggs in, so they're guarding that. Protection, courage, the setting sun, comfort, and this is the sticker, this bird character with the moon. Dawn chorus, starlight bonfire, nurture, rebirth, patience, make a wish, balance. I really like this card, journey. Can you see the face there? The green man, treasure. The only other thing I would say is that there's not the consistency size of the font, but as it is a hand font, hand drawn font. Connection with the little robin, they're important to me. Speak your truth. You've got these menhir like stones with runes on them. Decay, portal, precious, do the work, distance, so the wings can take you a long way, growth, desire. I love this because it reminds me a little bit of the character of Bottom in Midsummer Night's Dream, and the desire he had. I know it's like a hair, but it just reminds me of that. Know thy enemy. Death. I love how simple this is with the petals and just the person who looks asleep. Solitude. Boundaries. Focus. And affection. There's some really interesting keywords and some really interesting cards. Let's just choose a card and see what the guidebook says about that particular card. Now, because of the way I'm shuffling, actually, thankfully, by shuffling overhand, like I'm just doing off camera here, you can just about see it. They're quite big. I can get my fingers around. I've got a big stretch, but someone else might not be able to. Ooh, and then I've messed that up. Let's take this one because this was the first one that flipped over. So this one is Do the Work. So let's have a look what the guidebook says about this card. Do the Work. The guidebook is in alphabetical order, so it's very easy to find. So this says self-discovery, self-control, self-acceptance. In an ancient landscape surrounded by mist, a clearing exists. Within it is an ageless standing stone. A low hum seems to flow from the stone and permeates the ground, vibrating the surrounding earth where small stone towers are balanced. A figure sits in deep meditation, raising rocks, seemingly with the power of the mind. The truth of who we are exists steadfastly beyond the opinion or influence of others and beyond our physical circumstances. It is ageless, timeless, and its vibration rings true through all the stories we collect as we move through our human existence. We build our rock towers as we go, marvelling at the heights we can achieve, the skill we possess for balance until it all falls down. One unevenly formed or misplaced stone can affect the entire tower. Possesses and opinions. What does that mean? Have been projected onto you by others and the world around you, and when you've not had true balance, you've adopted these stories as truth. Do the work as a call to action to stay grounded in your truth with self-acceptance and love as you deconstruct the idea of yourself that you have built. So I'm not sure if there's actually a printing error here, because this line here seems to be missing a line with a capital letter, so I'm not sure if something's got cut off here. I think something's got cut off there. I wonder if that's happened anywhere else. Yeah, I think there's a line missing there. That's a real shame. I would also just point out that the amount of writing on here and the size means it's tiny. So I don't have bad eyesight for reading, but even I'm having to really look at that closely. So some interesting comments. How I'll work with this, whether I'll keep it or not, I'm not sure. I need to just play with it a little bit and see. But this is the Oracle of Shifting Shadow by Old Forest Forge. So Emily and Mort Sparrow. And I will put their Etsy page on the description at the bottom of the video. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it goes and how it works in my practice. Right, I'm going to leave this one here for now, and I'll find something else to share with you. See you soon.